everyone, if you love bokeh and compression, then today's video is for you because I have a 200mm f2 from Laowa that I'm going to be reviewing. I'm going to test this out for both photo and video at a portrait photo shoot. Okay, so that's just a close-up of your face, so I'm going to run back. Ooh, that looks so cool. Okay, so this is cropping like around your knees and there's like a lot of negative space around you at the top. It looks very dreamy. Oh my gosh, I love that. This location is just a dream. The full name of this lens is the Laowa 200mm f2 FF-AF-C Dreamer. It's a full frame lens and comes in EF, E, and Z mount. Today, I'm using it on the Sony A7IV for photo and the A9 III for video. And before we get into it, this review is not sponsored and I do not keep the lens. As always, I'll be sharing both the pros and cons for this lens. Do you want to try maybe with your arms crossed? Could be cool. Maybe it's so far away, but I'm looking at you like really close up. If you could maybe like some crossed arms. Oh my God, this is like a dream photo shoot for me. I'll show you what we're working with too. It's so nice. So let's start with image quality. I'll share lots of unedited photos at 100% crop so you can see the real quality this lens produces, plus my edited version afterwards. And I'm using my Amalfi preset pack, which I'll leave linked down below if you want to grab it for yourself. I was thinking, could you crouch in that little patch of sun just there? And yeah, crouch with your knees like out that way. Ooh. Oh, that's so pretty. There's no doubt this lens can produce a beautiful image. I found sharpness varies though depending on your distance to the subject. The first few mid-length shots are in focus but not razor sharp. With these wider images, I added sharpening in post to help Elena's facial features stand out more. As I get closer to my subject, that's where the quality of this lens really shines. You can see so much more detail and fine texture in these headshot style photos. And I'll get like a close-up there as well. That was not close-up yet. The transition from in to out of focus is beautiful, which is definitely more obvious in these headshot images. It's nice and smooth, which is what you want to see. The colors coming from this lens are super nice, very neutral and easy to work with. I didn't notice any color cast, and I have a comparison to my GM lens coming up soon where you'll see the colors look pretty much exactly the same. So we're going to jump into the autofocus test Dan and I filmed on another day. These are all with the A9 III now. I have the camera set to wide area continuous AF with the faster settings available to see the performance. This lens is decent for video. It does a great job at staying sticky on the subject when we're standing in a more still position, and it quickly refocuses on the subject when we jump in and out of the frame. It's also pretty good with movement. You will see it slip focus here and there, but overall it's pretty good considering the focal length and aperture. Like the majority of telephoto lenses, it doesn't completely keep up when moving towards the lens at a super close distance, but it does refine focus very quickly once it catches up. And then let me see how close I can get as well. I did notice some eyelash focusing in the tighter shots, but it was pretty minimal overall. There were still plenty of photos focused on the iris to choose from. This lens performs better with stationary subjects and would struggle more with something like sports. When I asked Elena to walk around, even though she was walking side to side where she is staying at a very similar distance away from the lens at all times, I had more missed focus photos compared to us staying still. I wanted to get some with a bit more sun as well, so I think like here is a good little spot. It's really hard for me to gauge how far away to be. I'm not used to shooting like on a 200, but I'm gonna get some backlit shots right here because the sun is in the perfect spot. There we go. Because then it's just like flowers behind you. It's so pretty. This lens weighs about 1.5 kilos, which honestly is not that bad considering what you're getting. In contrast, the Sigma 135 f1.4 DGDN that I just reviewed and will leave link down below if you want to watch, weighs around 1.4 kilos. So this is only 100 grams heavier, but is a longer focal length. This lens has an aperture ring and a focus ring. I like that the focus ring matches the material of the lens body, so there is no rubber here, even though it looks like it. There's a click switch, AF/MF switch, and a focus limiter, which is especially useful for long focal lengths like this. There are 5 customizable buttons, but they can only share the same function. The front of the lens has a huge 105mm filter thread. However, I love that they've added a 43mm rear filter holder on the E and Z mount version, so you won't need to invest in expensive front filters. In saying that, I do use a matte box later on in the video test, as I don't own any 43mm ND filters. You can rotate the filters externally by this wheel, which is super handy for filters like CPLs. It also has a detachable tripod collar and comes with a lens hood. The wind's kind of cool. By the way, I've edited this entire video using my custom Rec 709 conversion preset, which is available if you want to use it for your video footage. It includes a pack of 10 customizable Premiere Pro presets, and I'll leave it linked in the description for you. This lens has 9 aperture blades, and the bokeh is super nice and round at f2. If you zoom in, you can see a bit of texture. When you step down to f2.2, you can already start to see the little pointy edges. I think it's more obvious since the bokeh is so large and prominent in the frame. Those straight edges are even more prominent the more you step down. And then I want to get like a full body shot as well. I think with you just there is good. And I'm going to have to run right back. Yes, but there's a pole right coming out of your head. If you could step that way, yeah. So paranoid. This is a full body shot with a little bit of negative space at the top of the frame. So this is how far away I have to be from my subject. This lens is clearly made for photographers who love bokeh and telephoto compression, but there are some cons to think about with a lens like this, as a 200mm f2 telephoto prime is definitely a specialty lens. Should we try some? If you want to like pace, yeah, you can go like right all the way up here and then back. Ready? Yeah, that looks so good. Everything that touches me, I'm like, what's that? I also have 2 comparison images against the Sony A7IV f2.8 GM2 taken in the exact same spot so you can see the difference. The background is definitely creamier in the f2 image, but at 200mm, even f2.8 has plenty of bokeh and separation, while also having the convenience of being a zoom lens. You'll need to consider the ergonomics of using a lens like this and if it will suit your style of work. I want to get one where you've got like grass in front of you and behind you, so I think this.
May I suggest that one there are some flowers behind?
Oh yeah, the really tall ones too. Yeah, I'll stomp around. No, I love suggestions. So yeah, if you want to crouch like here, and then we'll get a little bit of this in the foreground. You'll usually need very large locations to be able to work with, because you can see just how far away I have to be from Elena most of the time during this photo shoot. It's also not super fluid shooting with a 200 prime. Every time I want to change composition, I have to stop shooting and walk to my next spot, rather than if I'm using a zoom or a wider telephoto like an 85, where I can easily change my compositions without having to completely stop the flow of the shoot. On the other hand, where it can be really handy is in all the situations where you would need a telephoto, like needing reach, low light shooting, compression, blurring the background because it's too busy. This lens is fantastic at that. But with this lens, you can get even more creaminess and more bokeh than most lenses currently on the market. Something underrated is that with these longer lenses, you will need to shoot with faster shutter speeds to avoid motion blur, so having that wider f2 aperture lets you do this without having to bump your ISO too high. Okay, let's talk about lens flares. On the day of our photo shoot, we had some really nice white, large flares, almost ghosting in the frame. It looks great in backlit shots as it adds to that dreamy feel. I find that backlit photos still have a nice amount of contrast. I have more flare examples from another day which are more intense. The rainbow flare is interesting and I actually like the look of it. Because this lens is so long, I'm using the road as a backdrop, but because it's so blurred, you can't really tell what it is. It's just like a nice solid color, but I really want these flowers in the shot. They're so cool. I took photos with and without the UV filter that's inside the lens, and either way, it did produce this style of flare. It looks like this lens has a very good handle on chromatic aberration. I couldn't find any in my shots, and we had a lot of strong backlight that we were working with. And then let me get a close up. Let's do some standing there as well, and I'll shoot from this direction. I have to walk so much with this lens. Ooh, that's beautiful there. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna get another full body shot because that looks really good there. Price-wise, this lens is very competitive. It's over $1,000 cheaper than the next closest 200 prime, which is the Sigma 200mm f2 DGOS. Unlike the Sigma, the Laowa relies on IBIS only, which for photo and video portraits was perfectly usable for me. All right, these are the last shots we'll get. I love this spot though. And maybe one more arms crossed one. Oh my gosh, these are so stunning. Let me get one more close up. I keep lying. I'm like, this is the last shot. Video time. I don't know why I get into video when we're doing so many telephoto lenses recently. This one also needs a matte box. And no, I only used a matte box because I didn't have the smaller ND filter for the retray. Let's start up here because this spot was really nice with the sun. If you could stand like just there where that moth is. Anyway, for these video shots, I decided to film everything at 100 FPS on the A9 III to give me a bit more leeway when it comes to movement. Filming on longer lenses can be very unforgiving with movement. Okay, I'll do like a close-up as well. This lens is beautiful for video too. Just like in photos, it's definitely sharper on close-ups and we lost some detail when Elena was further away. My ISO was a bit high, but the difference in sharpness is still there. And then can we try some walking lens there as well? Just like side to side, just like a few paces here and there. All those bugs flying around look so dreamy in all the shots. They are the flies and bees that kept annoying us while we were shooting, but it turns out they look really good in the frame, so it was worth it. Yeah, if you look over your shoulder as well. Yeah. So let me know what you think of the lens in the comments, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.